Hi everyone, I knew I couldn't keep away for too long. I've been away in the city for a couple of days with my daughter and my husband, had a wonderful time. I know a lot of you are really enjoying the last two vlogs I've put out. One was the Maya windows. That's a big tradition here in Australia, in Melbourne. And so I think it's the 66th year that's been running for, and they do have a different theme every year. And this year's was Peter Rabbits, and it was really stunning. Now I do remember watching in lockdown on the news that the visual artists were working on all of that production through lockdown while they were at home, and I think they've done a marvelous job. I really loved all the work put into that, and just the way it was lit up at night time. It's much better to go at night if you're wanting to go. There was less crowds at night than there was in the day, of course, because people bring their children in the day and it gets a bit more crowded, but it was really lovely at night with the beautiful backlit windows. And I absolutely love Federation Square. There was a lot of families there and a lot of different events on, and it was just such a beautiful night, the way everything was lit up. So that was fantastic. Then, of course, the next day we went out for breakfast and we went to one of my favourite little hidden gems in Melbourne, and that was Lucello's in the Nicholas building. If you go up to I think it's the third floor up, so it's floor 2, so third floor up, and it is the most gorgeous ornate little store full of treasures. If you're a sewist or into embroidery or patchworking, you are going to love it in there. The lady that runs it is absolutely beautiful, and she let me have a little film around there, and I bought myself a gorgeous little cat tin because I couldn't resist it when I saw that. I just thought, how beautiful is that? Did a little bit of Christmas shopping for my eldest daughter Phoebe, so she doesn't know about that. So that's wrapped up beautifully under the tree. I just thought, what a great size that is for bibs and bobs and sewing. And look, I just love, of course, the cats, all different breeds and varieties of cats. So that one was calling out to me, but that shop has got some amazing little vintage style tins, all different sizes as well, and I'm going to link their store and I'll link this tin as well online. I do know that the owner was telling me how old the building is. It's in the Nicholas building, beautiful old building in Melbourne, and there's no air conditioning in there, and it just gets really, really hot. So she said she does close up for a few weeks in January and operates a business from home. You can order online as well, but it is definitely worth a visit if you're in Melbourne and you want to have a look around at the beautiful Lucello's shop. I can highly recommend just dedicating yourself a good half an hour to an hour just to have a little browse through there. There's some gorgeous little shops next door as well, but definitely worth a visit. That was a lovely day out as well. So it's back home. We come back to organising bits and pieces for Christmas and back to doing some more sewing. Today I've got on a make that I made last year, the Sewciety Eva dress. I love this dress. I love the beautiful drafting and that kind of lanterny shape, and it's just in a cotton linen blend. I think it was from Spotlight last year. I think they may still have this fabric, and I've got my little babushka earrings from Artsy Shiny Cloud. I thought I'd better keep bringing you some Christmassy things because I love wearing these. These are really my favorites. So I've been doing a bit of sewing behind the scenes. You might have seen on Instagram, over on Instagram, that I actually made up the brand new pattern from Forget Me Not Patterns, which was the Viola top. Beautiful knit top. Absolutely stunning on. And you know what, when you buy the pattern you get a free tutorial. It's a video you can follow along that Joe will show you step by step how to do those little intricate folds. It reminds you of a bit of an origami lesson because it's just I just said to her, she is a bit of a creative genius the way she's come up with this pattern, because it just works so beautifully. When you cut that pattern piece out and you see it's just one giant piece the front, it is very unusual to say the least. I've never come across a pattern quite so involved looking, but if you make sure you use either your chalk or an erasable marker for drawing on those lines, cutting your notches, everything will come together beautifully. But you must remember to do all that when you have it flat piece cut out, because if you don't have those lines drawn properly, you'll be in a complete mess. So make sure. I used an erasable marker and it worked beautifully, and you've got those sort of tools, rulers that you can use for ruling your lines, and using a lot of pins, it'll come together great. But it only took me, I think it was not even 2 hours to make the whole thing from start to finish. And you've got the seam along the back for the shaping. You can make it with the collar, which is the highest sort of stand-up back collar, but I've gone for the collarless. And that beautiful kind of asymmetric neckline, I just think works so beautifully. And the way the pleating you know, the way it looks is just really stunning on. That was with a cotton jersey. Now, that's kind of got a bit of body to it, so it will show up that pleat work. It will look much more like a structural design with that kind of a stabilized knit. If you're using something like a drapey jersey, maybe a round jersey or a bamboo jersey, you'll have a much softer kind of drape to the pleats. So it really can change the whole look of the garment depending on what fabric you use. But I love wearing a cotton jersey for summertime. But it's a really pretty pattern, and I could highly recommend the Viola. As usual with forget-me-not patterns, Jo always puts beautiful little details in her patterns. And I know the iris tee with that pleating on the arms had really inspired her to do this gorgeous Viola top. But yeah, her patterns are always so lovely and definitely worth having a look at them. And you can see I've done a bit of sewing in the background. I made a wearable toile of a dress that I've been wanting to make for so long, and it actually turned out so lovely. I wouldn't even call it a toile. It actually came together really nicely. It's the Sycamore Lane dress from Sew to Grow, and it's got that gorgeous apron style top. Apron style top, I just love that. I think it looks really nice, especially for summertime. Be careful with your sizing. I know I normally make an extra large. I did in her Sydney shirt dress. It had quite a lot of ease. This is a different kettle of fish altogether. It is a much more fitted, close to the body style, structured dress. And you need to look at the finished garment measurements before you go ahead and cut that pattern out. I looked at them, I changed my mind several times, and I ummed and ahed, and I just wasn't really sure whether to make the extra large or the 2 extra large, and I just went with the finished garment measurements and decided to go for the 2 extra large just to be safe because it is so fitted. I am so glad I did that because it just fits like a glove. Perfection, I would say, that dress. I'm just so happy with the way it fits. With around the bust and underarm bit, I actually took a tiny bit in off there because, of course, around the top bit here, I'm more like an extra large. It's more in the middle and the hip that I'm 2 extra large. Especially in every pattern's different. It really, I would kind of throw pattern sizes away and don't even think of yourself as being a particular pattern size, because every pattern company you'll find you'll be a different one. So I would always say, highly recommend looking at your finished garment measurements to decide on what size pattern. And yeah, really forget about sizing, go for measurements instead. It's got a side zip insertion there, invisible zip. And of course, definitely think about using your invisible zip foot if you've got one for your machine. What worked for me really well was using that double-sided hemming tape. Definitely think about using an invisible zipper with a double-sided hemming tape or a heat and bond tape to stabilize that zipper in before you sew it. It is the best way I have ever done an invisible zipper. It just stabilizes everything. You don't have to put all these pins and bits and pieces in, and it just lined up beautifully. So definitely look at Lindsay's method for doing that. But I'm really, really happy with the dress overall. It wasn't a really involved make. There is no lining, so the dress, you could possibly line it if you wanted to, but it is unlined, very simple, especially for showcasing a gorgeous fabric. I've decided to cut it up to the midi length and put the side splits in, and I'm really, really happy. I'll be definitely wearing that, Meg. I'll be definitely wearing that for my summertime here in Australia. I'm going to get onto the advent calendar labels because I'm about 3 days behind. I want to keep up to date so you can see them if you haven't got one of these calendars. They're really, really lovely. But before I do that, I wanted to tell you about I'm sewing behind the scenes here at the moment. I'm stuck into my Christmas dress at the moment because, before you know it, Christmas is going to be here. And I'm just thinking, I've still got a couple of weeks to go. But no, it's way less than that now. So, yeah, it's creeping up on us all, I'm sure. So there's a few more episodes I wanted to get out for you guys, as well as things like my favourite things episode and that pavlova recipe. I know a lot of you are waiting for the pav recipe. It's definitely on the list to make for this upcoming week. So what am I sewing? I actually showed you this gorgeous cloth edit Postano linen silk print, which I'm definitely making my Christmas Day dress with this fabric. I love it. Decided to go for one I'd made quite a few, 2 or 3 years ago now, and it's a very easy Vogue pattern. It is the version A. It's V9311. Now, I made this a couple of years ago when I first started vlogging in a cotton sateen fabric. And I threw it together thinking, it probably won't come up very well because a lot of the time with big four patterns, I struggle with fitting. but it came up $1,000,000. I loved it. And I'll pop a picture up of that dress with a combination of the View B skirt and the View A top. So I decided to eliminate the ruffle. I'm going to do a midi length of that longer skirt with the split in the front, but yeah, not quite as long. That's a more midi, but definitely with the top of the A. So I think that's going to look amazing in that fabric. Is you haven't got too much fitting problems with that because you have got a tie back. There's quite a little bit of ease through that dress, and it doesn't look like there is from the picture, from the line drawings, but when you have it on, you realize that you can pull it in and tie it at the back, and you can fit it that way instead of mucking around with things like side zips. But I love that pattern. It's a very firm favorite of mine. I'm really dying to see how this is going to come up, so I'm going to get on with this today. Plenty of sewing to do, but before I do that, I'm going to open up my Calling the Machine labels, because I haven't done that for the last couple of days. So we're up to, I've got to do 15, 16 and 17. So 15, we've got little roses in the vase. Let's see what's behind here. It's been so nice to have these labels ready to grab when you're making something. You've got a huge variety now. Oh, this is really nice. Made with love. Very cute. I like the little labels. I just find that they're really dainty and easy to fit into any style of garment. Number 16 is quite a big one. This lady here, she looks like she's ready to get some sewing done. Let's have a look what's behind 16. Oh, I've seen this one over on the Calling Machine Instagram page. Making is Magic. This is a gorgeous patch. And I love seeing, if you haven't gone over to Instagram and looked at the Calling Machine page, you'll see all the things she's done with her, things like her patches and her labels and way she's incorporated them into her garment making. It's just gives you a little bit more inspiration that way. And 17, gosh, we are getting through them, aren't we? The jumper, Christmas with Christmas cardigan there. Let's have a look what's behind. And we've got some more labels. This one says, whoops, yay. That's really cute as well. So that's going to keep me busy. I have not only got this dress to sew up, but I've got a couple of other little things I want to try and get done before the big day. Only because I'm having a family get together on Boxing Day as well. I want something else to wear, but maybe thinking about cotton jersey dress, maybe a good old-fashioned Pattern Emporium favorite pattern. And there is something very special coming up for Pattern Emporium on Boxing Day. I'm not going to let you know anymore because there'll be a vlog coming up for that. I hope you've enjoyed that today. I wanted to keep you up to date with my makes because I know a lot of you are missing that 12 days of Vlogmas. I have had so many wonderful emails of people enjoying their new prizes and gifts as well. So yeah, it was really lovely to do, but it's really nice to get stuck into a bit of family time and a bit more sewing too, because I've really missed the sewing more than anything. The editing, of course, took up so much time with those 12 days of Vlogmas series, but I really enjoyed it. It was really worthwhile. But now I'm really hanging out to get back on that machine. Thank you for watching today. I'll be back very shortly. I'm not sure when, maybe the next couple of days. We'll see how we go because I'm sure I'm going to be wanting to show you some extra things that I'm making. Also a bit more Christmas inspiration for all of you out there. I'm going to enjoy some of this beautiful weather today. It's going to be 32 degrees here in Melbourne. So I'm going to try and get on that sun lounge here and get a little bit of sun. Not too much, but just enough that really makes you feel nice and reinvigorated. So we'll see you soon. Take care and bye for now.